What's going on, guys? My name is Noah. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Here we focus on life, fitness, mental health, addiction, wellness, and then just sharing candidly about my experiences. I am sitting here with 9-year NFL star and veteran Alex Molden, turned Nike head trainer and motivational speaker. He was kind enough to put me through an incredible workout and share that with you. Link in the description to that wonderful experience. Alex has overcome a ton of adversity and had to overcome a lot of obstacles in his life, both personally and professionally, growing up and then getting into the NFL, which I can only imagine. I'm excited to be inspired, and I always look for similarities, not differences, so I'm really, really glad that you are here. We should shake hands now.
Come on. Alex Molden. I'm originally from Colorado Springs. I'm an Army brat, moved all over.
I forgot about that.
And I was just a regular kid growing up. Moved a lot of different places. My parents didn't play sports growing up, not even in high school. So we never watched. I never watched football. Never did any of that type of stuff. I was just always playing outside, running around. And, chasing people and getting chased and all that stuff. And kid stuff. Yeah. And we used to play football just around on the block, and just doing that. And I just started to develop a love for it. And really, it started off with me just watching this. It was this tape. You get it. It was called the Crunch Course, and you get it back in the day. This was back in the late '80s, or mid '80s, where you. When you order Sports Illustrated, you get this tape. It's an hour-long tape, and it's called Crunch Course. And it was like this tape of all the hard hits and like Lawrence Taylor's and Dick Buckus, talking through their mindset. Walter Payton when playing football, and I fell in love. And this was before the internet. And I was like, how do I find out about football? My dad doesn't know. He doesn't, we don't watch. He never played it.
So you didn't play formal sports as a little kid?
I did, but it was like, we played basketball.
Okay.
Played a little bit of baseball, played a little bit of soccer.
So the sport you wound up becoming a professional in, you didn't have a lot of early year experience in.
Nope.
Interesting. Did you feel like there was like a void that got filled when you finally found football?
Yes. And my first year was 8th grade. So 8th grade, that's a late, if you don't know that, the 8th grade is really late.
Sure, sounds late to start a sport.
Yeah, and when I did, I found out, like, man, the contact. Like, I really loved that.
You thrived in that contact.
I thrived in that. And, thinking back, it was one of those deals where, my dad was abusive. And he was an alcoholic, and so was my mom. And there would be times when me and my twin brother, and we'd go to bed.
You're a twin?
I'm a twin, fraternal. If he walked in the door right now, you wouldn't know he was my brother.
Okay.
Unless he opened up his mouth or you saw him walk.
I feel like I'm drawn to twins or something. My wife's a twin, you're a twin. I like Twix, and they're like twins in a bag.
That's it.
Same thing, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I have no idea why I said that.
Yeah, but it was one of those deals where, being younger, and they would have their fights, and it would be physical, and we would be in the bedroom, and we would hear things.
The
and
kids
whatnot.
probably shouldn't be hearing.
Yeah. And you wake up the next morning, you go out there and you see furniture all over the place. You see blood stains.
Oh my gosh.
And it was something that, I don't know, me and my brother, we never talked about it. But
to this day?
No, I mean, we do now, but back then, it was one of those deals. I think that there was something that was inside of me that I wanted to be physical.
Sure.
But I couldn't do it.
There's no outlet for you.
There's no outlet. But once I got into football, we had pads and stuff like that. I felt like that was, man, I can hit people, and do it the right way.
I understand.
Learning all that stuff, and it would be celebrated, and it gave me a chance to be aggressive, but be in control.
Wow.
And so I fell in love with the sport.
Okay.
Even though the first year, we lost every game. We went 0-8.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't have the right equipment. I mean, we couldn't afford shoes, so I borrowed a pair of my dad's friend's cleats that was like 3 sizes too big.
Oh my goodness.
And I had to wear like 3 pairs of socks, and I had to flap the socks over.
Oh my gosh, just so they would fit.
Just so they fit.
Oh wow.
And so yeah, that was my first experience with football, and then learning, watching, asking questions.
Were you immediately good at football, or did you take to it quick physically? Did you respond to it quick, or was it a bit of a progression in that respect?
It was a bit of a progression. The biggest thing is like being aggressive. And so at the position that I played, I didn't have to. I was closer to the line of scrimmage, so I didn't have to read and do all that other stuff that I later had to do. I had a low football IQ, right? I just started 8th grade. And so, I dealt with all that by just being first one to the ball. I played defense, so I was the first one to the ball. I was aggressive and the first one to the ball. And I had a little bit of athleticism, but I didn't I gave it respect. It's important. And when I do my talks, when I talk with different corporations and people and whatnot, it's important to give your talent or perceived talent, give it the proper amount of respect. Meaning, I didn't just sit there hey, I'm fast, I'm quick, I'm strong, I got good size. That's all I need.
Sure.
No, I grew it, I watered it. I gave it food, and I was always asking questions, trying to learn from people who have been where I wanted to go.
And that's a beautiful thing to bring light to, because I think a lot of people, I think even I, over the years, have assumed from a professional standpoint, looking at professional sports, that most of these people just were so gifted that they didn't really have to work that hard. Now, this is an ignorant thing to think growing up. I think I've since changed, but I think there might be this idea that like, oh, this guy played in the NFL. I bet it was spoon-fed to him the opportunity to be there, and he was just incredibly good at what he was doing anyway. And that really wasn't the case. You had emotional trauma to use as an outlet, as opposed to something far more dangerous and deleterious to your life. You found football, and then you dedicated yourself and you found discipline. And those are the exact same principles that I've been able to apply in my life to make headway with depression and anxiety, and social anxiety, and just fear of failure and self-esteem issues. These things take action, and they take follow-through, and they take respect. They don't just often happen. So it's just a powerful thing to focus on.
Yeah. Biggest thing is like discipline.
Sure.
That's one of the biggest things, is like the discipline it took. And I did learn that from my dad. He was a drill sergeant.
Sure.
So I learned discipline.
We could probably talk all day on what that must have been like.
Yeah,
I can only imagine, but anyway.
Yeah. But so after that, I became better. I got better each and every year. The cool thing with football was I was able to better myself in the off season. So training became so big for me, because I want to reach my full potential, and so I had to train, and so did that and started getting recruited. I didn't know what a scholarship was until my sophomore year.
Oh my goodness!
I just thought for sure I was going to go into the Army like my dad.
Oh.
And then I heard the word scholarship. I was like, whoa, hold on. Yeah, I was like, I can go to school for free, and I found out about that, and it was just. I put those blinders on, for horses, those race horses.
Sure.
That was me. And I became locked in and focused, and got a scholarship at University of Oregon. And
that's right, you're a duck.
I'm a duck.
Yeah.
And, I was a low man on a totem pole, and I want to just learn, just keep on learning, and had good coaches, so I had to take coaching. And got to take feedback.
Yeah, of course.
And so
that's a skill in its own right. Especially for a young man.
Yeah.
There's I know in my own life there's been a tendency, at least in my early days, where I just felt like I knew a lot more than I did, and I didn't have the same ears for feedback, and I didn't see it as an opportunity. I took it more as a sacrifice to have to deal with input from people I didn't necessarily look up to or trust or whatever. It became defensive, became comparative, as opposed to humble. And boy, it did not behoove me to have that attitude. And the older I get, the less I realize I know, the more I want to learn. So that's a tough lesson to learn as a young person. So kudos to you for that.
Yeah. And so I ended up redshirting, and then the next year I won a starting spot.
Wow.
And
As a
it was
sophomore, but your rookie year for playing eligibility.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it was one of those deals where on the depth chart I was last. I was fourth on the depth chart, starting spring ball, and I was like, and I knew that I was better or I worked harder than the guys in front of me, but I had to prove it.
Sure.
And so each practice, each repetition was like a game for me. So that's the mentality that I took. It was a game.
How did you keep from getting distracted in college life from being so focused on this mission? How did you stay, I mean, drugs, alcohol, sex, distractions, period. How are you able to stay dialed in amidst that? Especially considering, and don't let me make this connection if it's not there, but considering your upbringing, the things you did have to overcome in the household, how did you not get sucked into other means of coping, feeling better, getting relief, so to speak, as opposed to the relief you got from contact sports?
Got it. You know what? I was driven, but that's not just it. I surrounded myself with other like-minded folks. I surrounded my circle was other people that wanted to, man, they was built on working hard, and nothing was given. You had to earn it.
Beautiful.
And we didn't go, get around, and we didn't just play video games, or we didn't just talk about like girls and stuff like that. We was making each other better, challenging one another.
So you got sucked into the sum total of the people you surrounded yourself with.
Yeah.
You guys elevated each other. You heated each other up.
Yes.
Yeah, that's incredibly powerful.
So and end up playing, and earned that starting role by the end of spring camp, and then played well my freshman year, and ended up tearing up my knee.
In your freshman year?
In the bowl game, yeah, right, your freshman year. I tore up my knee in the Independence Bowl. So I tore my MCL, tore my ACL.
You tore your ACL?
Yeah, a severely third-degree stretch of or tear on my PCL.
Oh my gosh.
And I thought that was it.
I would say something that could have potentially derailed all your hopes and dreams like that.
Yep.
At what, 19, 18 years old?
I was 19.
19 years old.
Yep. And
couldn't even rent a car.
couldn't even rent a car. That's right. And yeah, so that was like my first like setback where I was like, man, that's it.
No kidding.
And but we had great doctors, and they told me, you'll bounce back. This is fine. This is I'm gonna get this fixed for you. Then it's gonna be up to you. That's all I needed to hear.
Beautiful.
And
so you had hope instantly.
I had hope instantly. I had a great strength and conditioning coach in Jimmy Radcliffe at world renowned.
Wow.
And I got a chance. It was a blessing in disguise. I got a chance to learn how to be faster, how to move quick, how to be more explosive. I got a chance to work with a world renowned strength and conditioning coach. I didn't know it back then until now, but I got a chance to work with him 2 hours a day, 5 days a week for 8 months.
Oh my gosh.
He taught me how to run. You know what I'm saying?
He redefined your running mechanics?
We slowed things down. I asked questions. I got a learning like how to run, how to use the proper things at the proper time so I can be efficient in movement.
And do you think a lot of this opportunity in the face of adversity comes from a willingness to persevere and a willingness to take direction and just being able to surrender to a process? I mean, do you feel like, or have you experienced just, I don't know if the timeline will change here, but I want to start right from where you were when I'm done with this question, but have you seen these sort of injuries or adversities come up in other people's lives that have derailed them because they weren't able to look at it with the right mindset?
That's the number one thing is mindset. Understand there's certain progressions. What you did today, I put you in certain...
I'm ready for the NFL. Is that what you're about to say? I agree, and I will take that call.
Certain progressions so you can understand it.
Right.
Once you have better understanding, then you can kind of let back, and then now I can have total buy-in.
Kind of like know your why, let it fly.
That's right. That's right. So with that is just, and then accepting that if somebody who's done it and who's done it many times and had great success, I'm gonna have buy-in to them. I want to believe them. And then from there, it's all about how they deliver.
To leadership.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
So
and leadership applies to mental health, business, financial health, relationships, sport. I mean, it's something I talk about a lot, something that I don't know where I'd be without leadership in my life. I mean, I now consider you leadership in my life, and I'm just hungry for leadership because I don't know what I don't know, and I'm just willing to learn. You know, I want to be better. That's fantastic. Anyway, so you work with the strength and conditioning coach.
Yep.
I'm assuming make a full recovery.
Full recovery. I came back after 9 months.
That's a long time.
Yeah, and typically it's 12 months, but I came back in 9 months. I wasn't the same athlete. I wasn't the same.
So
the
you could
mindset, and I wasn't like, I didn't really believe in and trust. I had this big old brace on and stuff like that. But it forced me to have to become more of a student.
Sure.
Of the game. I had to watch more film.
Right.
To get like a better jump on certain teams that we were playing, or certain athletes. But so I didn't have that great of a year, but the next year, my junior year, I had my best year. Because now I had all my faculties. I was running faster, I was quicker, more explosive, and now I had the confidence, became a better student of the game. And then on top of that, my junior year, I became because I was so focused on myself and becoming, now my junior year, like now putting that together with a team and team mentality, team first, and that team was special. And like I said, you surrounding yourself with more people who are like-minded, and we had a lot of guys that year. That year we won the Pac-10. It was the first time in 37 years.
Wow.
And we went to the Rose Bowl.
Hey, which is like the pinnacle of bowls back then, right?
Yes, that's the granddaddy of them all.
It's the granddaddy of them all.
Yep. And so, did that, and it's special, super special. Because coming from, you going to Oregon, they were at the bottom of the Pac-10 back then, and then being a part of like that change of culture,
right, which is tough,
and mentality, and now it's like, man, doing it, we did it, we made it to the Pac-10, we won.
Wow.
And so after that, played my senior year, had a great year, finished strong, and then, the NFL came calling.
The NFL came calling.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So got drafted. Dream come true.
Drafted
Number 11.
Number 11.
Number 11th pick in the 1996 draft to the New Orleans Saints, and it was great. Did fantastic things, and I spent 5 years with New Orleans.
And you had a good experience there?
Yeah, good experience. Had a great coach.
How different was college? I mean, just real quick, how different was college football to the NFL? Mentally and then physically?
Mentally, the attention to detail was incredible. The attention to little things you can pick up. And we had to treat, like, practice was like game. Practice was like a game mentality. The best receiver I ever faced in college, I was seeing them every day in practice.
Oh, right.
Every day in practice. Like the fastest, the quickest, strongest, I was seeing it every day.
Day in, day out.
Day in, day out.
So I bet it elevated you relatively quickly. Yeah. And how are your mental and emotional faculties with the transition? Did it affect you positively, negatively? Was it kind of a moot point? Did you find that you were stressed more, stressed less, or?
That's a great question. I think for me being drafted as high as I was, the stress level wasn't as high, meaning
did you just refer to the 11th pick in the world as not that drafted? 10 people on planet Earth happened to be picked before him. Out of how many total picks in the draft?
I think that's like 300.
Oh, okay.
I think that's 300.
Yeah, you're right. There's no pressure in being the 11th best player in the draft.
You don't have to be so, the team is investing in you to be able to grow and all that. And really, I had a great coach. His name is Willie Shaw.
I just wish you'd be more humble, is my biggest concern with this interview.
But Willie Shaw, I learned so much from this man in just 1 year, because he was with us for 1 year, and he had coached in the NFL for more than 25 years.
Jeez, so he had experience at the Wazoo.
His son is David Shaw, who's the head coach for Stanford.
Currently.
And so Willie taught me things that takes me, it wasn't just football on the field, it was life.
Awesome.
having a plan, working your plan, understanding feedback is the breakfast of champions.
Feedback is the breakfast of... I thought it was Wheaties this whole
Yeah,
time.
no, feedback is the breakfast of champions.
Write that down, Andy.
But you can't bring ego to the table.
That's huge.
Right?
Yeah.
And he taught me, he said, hey, Alex, they're paying you a lot of money right now from what you got from the waist down. They'll pay you more for what you got from the neck up.
Woo!
Right?
That's powerful.
Right? So
Seriously.
I was like, man, I remember that from back in 1997.
Oh, if I had goosebumps, I'd have
Is
goosebumps.
that right?
I got mental goosebumps. The physical's coming.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, man, so it's not about how quick and us. Yeah, because that stuff fades.
Sure.
Those guys who played 12, 13, 14 years, it's not because they're the best athletes on the field.
Not
It's
anymore,
because,
right?
No, not anymore.
Right.
It's because they can process information quickly
Wow.
and effectively. And they can lead. They're great leaders. They're coaches in the locker room. So I learned that early on, and I needed that later on in my career.
Sure.
So
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So that your willingness to take feedback and your ability to accept great leadership in your life, it molded you directly into a leadership role later in life.
Yeah.
And you saw
Yep.
the value in being led. You saw the value in leading so young, it seems like. It just seems like you picked that up so young. Now, I have to ask, I'd be remiss not to ask, did you not get caught up in any of the glitz and glamour of the NFL? I mean, did that not come into the scenario for you trying to be a successful person, navigate adulthood and all that stuff?
Yeah, no, I think
How many Rolls Royces did you
surrounded-
have, Alex?
I didn't have too many Rolls Royces. I did spend money.
Sure.
Early on.
Sure.
I didn't really have it. And all these things that I dreamed of having, like the Rolexes and the jewelry and the Mercedes and the BMW and all that type of stuff. But I took care of my mom and my brother first. I took care of them. And then I bought some things that I was like, man, that I'm proud of, and stuff that I'm not so proud of. And
Part of being young and adjusting,
yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah, but I didn't have an entourage or anything like that.
I'll be your entourage now,
You be my
Alex.
entourage?
Absolutely.
Okay, I can buy you some Subways.
Perfect.
That's about it. No more diamonds and gold chains.
I
like that.
want footlongs though.
Footlong?
No 6
Oh,
inches
okay.
if I'm going to be part of the Molden entourage.
But I didn't get caught up too much into that. I really surrounded myself with people. Because I
As you were
learned.
saying, right, yeah.
I learned, and there was guys that was out there that was like, they was living like check to check, and that's
And you
not
didn't-
right. I knew that.
Yeah.
I can't live check to check.
Right.
And so I didn't get caught up too much into that. I didn't. But I've heard horror stories that people who have when you get a lot of money, and we were grossly overpaid. They're grossly overpaid now. But it's like you get that, and then you have people in your camp or family members that they think that they deserve a piece, and then you feel so many guys felt guilty.
Sure.
Guilty, not sharing. or
Sure.
not
Sure.
It shouldn't be like that. So got picked up. So 5 years with the Saints.
Right.
I signed with the Chargers. Had a great experience there, learning and whatnot, and understanding, what was like to. I often talk about when I do my motivational speaking. I talk about like having a shark in your tank, and it was about like I was once the shark when I was drafted first in the first round. I was brought there to take somebody's job.
Right.
Well, 7 years later,
Sure.
guess what?
Dynamic
There was a
changes.
shark put in my tank.
Right.
And it really forced me to hone in my skills and really lock in all those, what Willie was talking about, from neck
You're
up.
saying tangible
That's
stuff.
right.
Yeah.
And so I knew those things. I can see things before they happen more than this young rookie.
Sure.
His name was Quentin Jammer. And had a great, long career. But it forced me, I had my best year when I had
Wow.
a shark put in my tank.
Look at that. And you know what I always try to bring it back to mental health, and when I hear that, I'm like, for me, at this point in my mental health recovery, when I sense something is going wrong, or I'm coming up with some sort of bad feeling, a bad stretch, the mood's going down, self-esteem is going down, behavior patterns are worsening, that to me is my cue that I need to sharpen up my skills. That's my cue that I need to do some reflection. I need to get some help. I need to follow some leadership. When those things happen now, I know that I need to elevate to meet it. I cannot fold to it or bow to that will. My sick brain can't manage and fix my damaged mind type of thing. Like I know I need help, and so my shark in the tank has always been if I'm having trouble waking up in the morning, or I'm not sticking to my sleep schedule, or I notice I'm starting to become irritable, stuff like that. That's my shark. It's like, hey, it's time to elevate myself. I have to take responsibility over this, and or I could be overcome by it.
And that's that reflection part, right?
Absolutely.
Being
able to see it and identify and reflect to it and rise to it in a positive way, even if it's uncomfortable, as opposed to, like, you could have perhaps seen Quentin Jammer come in and just be like, oh, well, I guess there's a younger...
And I did. I mean, for the first couple of weeks when they picked him, I was like, I said, I got to call the real estate agent, babe. We're moving, And then I'm expecting a phone call from the general manager telling me I've been released. But it didn't happen. It didn't happen. And now I was put in a situation where I had to restructure my contract.
Sure.
And then I was able to earn all my money back that year.
Wow.
It was going to be the most I've made in a 1 year period. I had a chance to earn it back with incentives, with playtime incentives.
Sure.
And so that was like that little
carrot.
That little carrot. So I had a carrot and I had a shark.
Yeah.
Right.
Plenty.
So
plenty of motivation for the right mindset.
That's right.
It's beautiful.
Right. And then the next year, I ended up getting they want to restructure my contract. I didn't agree to it. So I was released in the off season. So when you're released, you don't I'm not in the locker room. They just call my agent and say, hey, Eddie, let you go. I said, okay, that's fine. So the next team up was the Redskins. So I signed a contract with the Redskins, and I was there in the off season, and at the during the last cut, I came in, right, and I'm expecting, they gave me $250,000 just to sign my name.
Wow.
So I'm expecting to be on the team. And so I go in there, I do my same routine. You go in and you always check the special teams board, because your name is going to be on the special teams board. And I looked and I said, where's my name? I don't see it. So I went up there, and I was expecting just to, that maybe he's going to give me a new playbook or new, we're in the season.
Sure.
I'm probably going to give me something. And it was, I went in there, and Alex, so we're letting you go. We're releasing you.
Did you get to keep the $250,000?
Oh, yeah.
Ha!
Yeah. But I wasn't thinking about that.
Oh, I'm
thinking, right? I'm thinking,
seriously.
First thing is like, I'm not good enough.
Oh, no.
That was the first time really in my career, football career.
You thought that?
I'm not good enough. And it was like a slap in the face, because it came out of nowhere. And I'm like, man, and my wife, with our 3 kids, and she's pregnant with our 4th, they just moved from San Diego
to Kansas City.
Virginia. We're in Washington Redskins.
Oh, Washington Redskins, right. Sorry, I don't know what else.
So I'm like, oh my, what am I going to tell me? That she just moved. So I end up, going out. I grab my stuff, and that little walk of shame that I've seen for over 8 years, and I saw it, and that was me. I'm grabbing all my stuff out of my cubby, and I'm walking out, and if I would have shed a tear, that would have been the time.
That would have been the time, yeah.
And thank goodness I had a support system. Right, I had my wife. She told me, babe, it's gonna be okay. I said, okay, I'll be home in a little bit, and I reflect, and driving back. I said, man, what in the world? And then, once I saw her, I saw my kids, that strong support system. My kids didn't care about, like, Dad, you're home. Hey, let's go to the museums, right? We're in Washington, D.C., let's go to the museums. And so it took my mind off of it for a little bit. And I'm getting choked up just saying this, but
this is a safe space.
It was one of those deals where I understood that at that moment, I wasn't good enough for the Washington Redskins. Not the other 31 teams. I was still good enough, because the Detroit Lions called me the next day.
Wow.
Called me the next day. I went up there, had a tryout, and because I was prepped, I was ready, mentally and physically, I got another opportunity, and I took advantage of it.
Beautiful.
And I ended up signing a contract with the Detroit Lions. And so that just lets people know that you're not, maybe because of a girlfriend or boyfriend turns you down, or you're not for this job, you don't get the job. That job wasn't right for you at that moment. There's other people, there's other job opportunities, other whatever, that's the perfect fit for you.
Do you feel like your kids and your wife at that moment were incredible mirrors and representations of your value for the grand scheme of what really matters in your life?
Yes,
and
that was my rock. Those were my rocks.
Yeah.
That and my faith.
Of course.
So with my kids, my wife, and my faith, I was like, it took me a while. Like I had to, it hit me.
I'm sure there was some
But
self-loathing.
then, then after a while, I got my posture back, and I was like, I'm gonna be okay. And then I'm gonna be ready for the next opportunity to happen.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And how? And just to wrap it up, from so did you finish your career in
With
Detroit?
Yeah, I finished my career with Detroit, and I got let go. They was making going another direction and whatnot, and I tried to stay on, and I worked out and got ready for my next workouts and stuff like that. But I understood, and this is another thing Willie taught me. He said there's only a handful of superstars in the NFL that can go and be productive, be superstars wherever they go. The other guys, they're just right fit, right time. And then also he told me, most of the time, the players, they're kicked out of the NFL. They don't just, there's only a handful that can also just retire or walk away from the game. The rest of them, they're kicked out. You got to stay ready and keep hungry. And then when you're kicked out, you got to accept it. That's part of the plan.
And you were able to, when your journey was done, which I think was like over double the average NFL career length, did you feel ready to, were you able to accept that with grace and kind of move on to the next phase of your life and just keep your head held high, or was there a bit of a mourning phase?
There was a mourning phase, 2 years.
2 years.
2 years. And that's one of the things that with NFL guys, the divorce rate after leaving.
This is just bad.
75%. And I was like, no way. Then I look at the stats, and our stats are just, hey, remember Tom from the, they're divorced. What about Billy Joe? Yep, they're divorced.
Dang.
What about Nathan? No, yep. So there is a time, and I went through that. That was another tough time.
But you eventually, you overcame it.
Yep, that's right.
And what are some parting words? So now you moved on. What do you do now? What fulfills you? What brings you meaning? And what do you do to support yourself and just your mission, your journey?
Yeah. So what I do now is, like I said, like with performance training, helping athletes, and anybody who's trained with me is my athlete. And so you're my athlete. That's right. You're my athlete. And so making
Without
them
Washington
feel better.
Greenskins, I'm coming for you.
Why? So making my athletes better, stronger, more durable, whether it's on the field track or making them just mentally stronger. I love doing that.
Beautiful.
I love being able to share my message of team. I've been on really good teams, and I've been on really bad teams, in both in college and in the NFL. And so those findings, now I share that with corporations.
Because they can apply well off the field.
Yeah,
sure.
And I have different stories and stuff that goes with setbacks and like leadership and like building a galvanized team and diversity, how important that is. And so I share those, that message with different companies and folks.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, Alex, what is some parting words that you can leave with our viewers who might be watching for a variety of reasons? What's something you can share with them, like a take home to maybe make them feel uplifted and to help them progress forward in their life?
So I always go through, and it's another thing I learned from Willie, is alignment, assignment, adjustment. There's going to be times in your life where you're going to have to be aligned with your partner, your spouse, or with your job. It's important to be aligned. That's the first thing. If there's misalignment, just like a car or anything else, there's going to be struggle and there's going to be wasted time and energy. The next thing is assignment. Knowing your role or your job within your family structure, within yourself, within your coworkers. Knowing other people's roles. When you know other people's roles, I know my role within my family. I know my wife's role. I don't try to do her job, because that's a tough job. But I know the role, so I know where I got to be able to fit in, where I got to be strong, and then other times where I got to be weak. Other one is adjustment. In life, there's always adjustments. How can you adapt? Can you adapt and then still come out the stronger of the total, the totality? So being aligned, I'm aligned with my faith, with my family, and with my work. I know my assignments, and then I can be able to adjust because I've had people in my corner over the time that's taught me, and so I know how to make these different adjustments. Especially when I was an introvert growing up. And
that's
now,
ironic,
right?
Yeah.
So now I'm like I know how to adapt and how to adjust to different people. I got to be able to adjust to the different my athletes, you know, their personalities and whatnot. So
That's beautiful. Wow, Alex. Thank you for your time. Guys, we're going to put links in the description to where you can find, last question. Beyond just being so grateful that you shared a little bit of your testimony with us, I have no doubt that can help people that watch this channel. We have a variety of viewers for a number of reasons, but testimony is testimony, leadership is leadership. We have a leader here. I'm really grateful to be with you. Where can people find you if they happen to want to?
They can find me on all social media platforms is at Alex Molden, MOLDEN.
We'll put links to all this in the description.
And then my websites for my motivational speaking is alexmoldenspeaks.com, and then alexmoldentraining.net to get what we got after today.
That's right. So. Everything you see
That's
here,
right.
he got me today. All right, guys, I hope you were doing well. I hope you enjoyed this video. Show some love in the comments for having Alex come out here and spend time with us. That's a wonderful thing. And make sure that you help me hold him accountable to my Subway, because he said I could have one if I'm a part of his entourage, and that's really all I'm thinking about. Not 6, right? A foot long, maybe 2, quite frankly. Shout out to my sister-in-law, Andy, who's behind the camera, who helped make this possible. I hope you guys are all having your best day. Be on the lookout for that collaboration we did on the fitness side of things. And I really do appreciate everyone who took time to be with us here today. Most importantly, of course, you, sir. So thank you so much.
You.
All right, we're out. That's it. Awesome.